Around the rock? Okay, have you checked and seen if people have like vanished and never came back, type of thing? I think I was talking to you about like the missing people in the U.S. forestry. It's been like over 16,000
Sure.
people, and then you think of all the people that go missing off the streets and everywhere else. I mean, has there been people missing around there? Maybe.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't. I didn't. I've heard of people missing. And especially around there, but I didn't know. It was all second or third party of stories. I have no way of verifying it. I do know that there was a lot of evil. There was a lot of satanic ritual stuff going on out there too, and I had heard also that there was some ritualistic sacrifices going on out there too. This is part of the dark side of that whole thing. This is after my uncle had died. And
that's what happens, though. I mean, if you have one thing, you're going to have a group of people that's going to do the opposite. And, and that's what, is really strange, that, here's a place that your uncle, set up, to basically enlighten people, make them feel good, and bring out their spirits. Then you got somebody that comes in there and their idea is, hey, this is a good place for sacrifices. And, it's, unfortunately, I guess that's what happens. You talk about the Incas, you talk about all the different cultures, and our culture has honestly not involved. And I also, while I have you on here, because we only got like about 12 minutes left, have you had anybody that has been, had implants put in them from any of their abductions or anything like that? I know Whitney, has mentioned numerous times that he's been abducted and he had an implant put in his ear. I listened to other people that say that they had implants and stuff like that. Wait 1 second. Kevin, my son's here tonight and he wants to ask you a question.
All the wars that we had.
Hey, Kevin.
Hey, how's it going? All the wars that we had.
All right.
All the wars that we had, in the past. What if we did not have those wars? How far would technology advance if we did not, let's say?
Would have advanced? No, we would. That's the other thing too. Is everything's provisional. And what's provisional too? And this has been I've had some weird visions about this. Everything's provisional. We were actually, we're being monitored. And what the worst thing that we there won't be, as far as any nuclear wars, there won't be any nuclear wars ever again. They will not be allowed. That's the whole thing. But there's so much technology that we will not get because of this current mindset of people. This is literally the Garden of Eden. This is the Garden of Eden. Everything is available to us, but it's all provisional. And it has to do with our higher level of consciousness. First of all, I'm not a religious guy or anything like that, but it makes sense to me too. I mean, I wouldn't hand a loaded gun to a 5-year-old. And I think that with some of the stuff, and that's gone up back even with some of the mythology with Atlantis and what have you, as far as what had occurred in the past, was literally the technology was so advanced that they literally destroyed themselves. As far as that. So that with the Watchers and the Council of Nine or the Council of Seven, depending on who they're not going to let that happen. So that's my take on it, and I believe that. I believe that literally. I think if we had the realization that if we could just get along. I mean, seriously. I mean, as far as that, we could actually our whole world would be turned upside down. And right now we're in the Kali Yuga, which is the darkest time period. And I believe we have another 20 years of this. And I think that this whole evolvement, and that's part of, I guess, my involvement with this stuff here, is to bring this message that literally we can literally change our world in as long as we can get enough people to actually believe in the same thing, and which is world peace, and that everything, there's an abundance for everybody and everything. Yeah.
That's just like going to the store and trying to find, a bottle of shampoo. There's always going to be more items available. Just like going to the dark side or going to the light side. In Star Wars, there's always a choice. And that's the messed up part.
Yeah, no, that's true. In fact, if you look at Star Wars, there's this whole Gnostic thematic behind all this stuff, and really, I think if you get into these perennial true religions that go on for a while, you get all this truth, and then the dark force just tries to wipe it off the face of the earth, and that's pretty much what's funny. Like the whole Star Wars motif is very much like that, and that's actually like I think that's what's going on. I think there's some of us that are out there. They're really searching and really trying to make this place, the place it should be. And I think that's what keeps this place. I think that's the hope and promise. But the motif of some of the stories are very Gnostic. Back from the day, which is again, through history, that whole, a world of brotherhood and sisterhood has been squelched out and beaten down. But when it pops up perennial, you'll see great inroads in math, in science, in art, and then. There's the dark force,
Yeah, and that just, I'm just wondering if that's what we're going into right now.
We are.
That's what's scary.
It is. It's a mortal battle. But the bottom line is that I think that you have to believe. You have to believe that we can do something. And like I said earlier, I'm not. There's no way I'm going to give up on this. I'm going to try to do my best to get whatever I can out, as far as information goes, and let it go where it may, and that's all I can do.
Yeah, that's all we can do.
I've been told. Yeah, I've been told. I know what I'm saying. There's no way around this. I've been told what to do. So for me, it's not. It's a little different from other people, as far as that. But I mean, if I can get people to basically, grasp what this is, and again, you have to acknowledge and become aware of this battle that's going on. A lot of people, they got their heads so far up their asses, they don't. They have no idea, and that's what's scarier to me than anything else is the people that just go about their business thinking, oh yeah, and like one day this is gonna not end up well for them.
Well, that's what happens though with all societies. Go back to Germany in the 30s. Okay, it was just like the people saw things going on, but they wouldn't do anything. I mean, if the mass public said, "Hey, we're not going to allow this to happen with this government," it would have never happened.
Right.
But they didn't do anything. They're too busy worrying about themselves.
Well, I
got mine. Oh. Right.
Well, you got to think about this. A lot of Germans, they didn't even know about the concentration camps or anything. So, if Germans were, if people are claiming that, then, and if it were true, then maybe the government can hide, stuff like that.
Hey, Kevin, the government hides a lot of stuff.
Oh, exactly.
Okay, let's face it. If I went and I saw, if I went around and told people in my past that I saw a bright light and it was a UFO over my car, okay? Some of the jobs I've done in big business in the past when I was younger would have never happened. They would have looked at me like I was a total crackpot, and that would have been the end of it. Oh, okay? Yeah. So I would have been working at the Goodwill, taking up donations for people, dropping them off.
Definitely.
So that's what's got me. I do think that there is something. I do believe that you were abducted. I have another person I talked to that she was telling me about her abduction, and hers was a very painful experience. It didn't start out painful. It was like she was abducted probably 4 or 5 times. When she got older, in her teens, that's when it started getting sexual, more exams, and then it started getting painful. So, that's... Yeah, go ahead.
It's absolutely right. When I think about the worst words that I can hear is, and this is what I hear more often from a lot of people, and it's an anathema to really what is. Well, there's nothing I can do about it, and I I just know with all of my fiber that if that's what they want you to think. Everyone wants you to think that there's that there's nothing that you can do about it. Well, just by basically having a conversation, discussion, that's doing something about it. That's keeping it alive, et cetera, et cetera. But most people say, "Oh, yeah, it's probably true, but there's nothing I can do about it." I think, "Oh man, come on, let's not do that. Let's not, let's not give up before we even go to battle on this thing here." And that's what I hope that, the whole mind thing, and this whole collective unconscious. I mean, that is the power, that is the force, and literally it is unstoppable. It really is. But it's not going to go without a lot of pain, and there's work, and you just have to go do it and just keep going on and not sell out. Not sell out, and that's hard. It's hard not to sell out. I get it. But anyways,
and a lot of people have sold out because they were scared. I mean, let's face it. I mean, if they had,
sure.
I mean, some people, claimed they had, death threats and everything else. And then again, there's been cases where noted scientists that were working on UFO type things, gone, had
intimidated.
Yeah. Or died of a heart attack like a week later or in a major car accident. But it was like a whole series of them at one point over a short period of time, which is really strange. So I think a lot of times, I think the governments, too, create other events to keep people's mind off of other things.
Absolutely.
I mean, there's been, in the last few years, there's been so many different sightings in Brazil, the UK, Mexico, Ukraine, of UFOs, abductions, but you don't hear much about it except on the internet. And I think Kevin has one more question, then I'm going to have you go ahead and plug your book and your movie and everything.
Well,
okay, thanks.
Well, it's not really a question, but tomorrow I have to give a speech to my old union. I used to work for a company called Kroger, and I have to give a speech tomorrow, how I lost my job, and why I lost my job, and basically why I was fired. Unjustly fired, and I have to explain that to them tomorrow.
So I think you're nervous about that, but I don't think it has anything to do with the topic.
Oh no,
about.
I'm just.
I know. Okay. Anyway, Chad. Maybe.
Hey, good luck on that, Kevin. Yeah. Go ahead.
He's going to need it. But anyway, where can they find your book and everything else? Why don't you go ahead and...
Well, the book you can buy directly from Amazon and Giant Rock, and it's that you can get that. Chad C. Meek, I'm the author of it, and you can buy it ebook or you can buy an actual physical book, some paperback. And that's where you can get that. The other thing is, again, if you need to contact me personally or you want to become involved in what I'm doing with the movie or any other stuff, you can contact me at chad@giantrockmovie.com. And I'd love to chat with you. And I'm looking for like-minded people who want to do something different with film and with everything else. So, again, Chad at giantrockmovie.com.
How about people that maybe been abducted? Do you want to hear from them at all, or
I definitely want to hear from people who've been abducted, and especially, and if you need any kind of help or assistance for somebody to talk to, please contact me as far as that stuff goes too. And of course, if you want to be on film, or on video, we'd love to, hear your story and put it up with our little YouTube channel called The Real Truthers, and get the word out.
Okay.
As far as that, okay.
Okay. Well, hey, Chad, it's been good. I know there's so much more we could have touched base with. I mean, this is the type of thing you could talk hours and hours and hours on. I do appreciate you coming back on such short notice for the second part. And